All right, guys, this is the moment you've been waiting for. It's my super secret painterly technique. And it's today, we're going painterly. Yeah, I've been digitally painting for over 10 years, and I've always been inspired by that painterly, traditional textured look. And so I'm gonna share some techniques on how to achieve that with your own art. I have 10 techniques to show you, and some I have never shown ever. So whether your style is a little more simple and graphic, or photo bashy and textured, you're gonna definitely learn something. I'm currently working on my new book that's coming out next year, and so throughout the video, I'm gonna share my techniques while working on this piece. And whenever I film videos, I wanna get ready and look good and feel good. And so to save time, I tried cutting my own hair. I was like, yeah, I can do this. And this is the outcome. Find a barber. I'm gonna try to keep each tip between 1 to 2 minutes, so they're gonna be kind of swift and to the point. And so I have this sketch here of my new character Hollow under a tree. I revealed him in my last video. This character is spawned from my burnout, and the love that you guys have shown to him, just thank you. To see that you guys connect with him too. Some of you guys even made like a fan animation. Thank you. I collected some reference here for today's painting, some stock photos and photos I took, plants and grass, textures and flowers. Tip number 1 is a textured base. And so I like this one right now, and I'm gonna drag this onto my canvas, put it on top of my painting. So I learned this technique at the beginning of my art journey. I was like 14 or 15 years old, and I was on the concept art forums, and a lot of the pro artists use this technique to just get some really cool textures and variety just to get started. Sometimes an empty canvas is a little scary, you know, like, oh man, how do I put my first stroke down? And so what this does, it kind of just gives you a lot of chaos. You're gonna use this as the base, the foundation of your painting, and you're gonna paint over it. Most of this is gonna be washed out in the process, but in the final piece, some of it will still retain and breathe through your painting. Basically, it's just an underpainting, kind of like visual eye candy at the foundation of your piece. And this is gonna lead us into tip number 2, color dynamics. This should be in every painting program. It provides a variety of color inside your strokes. What's cool about doing it this way is you have the background textured as a foundation for the program to sample the colors from. Ooh, the colors are gonna feel really harmonious. So I'm gonna use color dynamics right now to just blend out some of this texture. God, I love this brush. If you're curious about this brush, it's part of my advanced brush pack. I can't live without it. I love it so much. Hey, look at that. Damn, all right, looks good. Started with this photo texture, and then we introduced color dynamics on top, and all the colors are very harmonious with each other because they just draw from the original palette. And tip number 3 is paint along the form. This sounds simple, but honestly this really helps me get that painterly look. I learned this technique from looking at the modern masters, the old masters, you know. Painting along the form not only adds a lot of dimension and structure, but these strokes, they look purposeful and they feel confident. Having that in your work can kind of achieve that painterly traditional look that you're looking for. And I'm gonna go around the painting, just adding a little more form and dimension. Great. Step 1, 2, 3. On to the next tip, watercolor brushes. Yeah, this is a recent technique that I've been exploring with my patrons. I've been loving just playing with the watercolor vibe. You know, these brushes are like darker on the outside and lighter on the inside, so there's some transparency. We all love those Ghibli landscapes with lots of detail, and it's very painterly and just so masterful. And so I was just trying to capture a little more of that vibe. You can even put some color dynamics on these watercolor brushes. Ooh, nice. There's tons of watercolor brushes online. Try to find one you like, maybe even a free one, and just start experimenting. Yeah, this is looking great. And so I'm just gonna work on it a little longer. I'll check back soon with the next tip. Here's the progress of our piece so far. I'm trying to create something a little beautiful but sad. Hollow is sitting under this tree playing piano, a little melancholy. And we're on to painterly tip number 5. Mixer brush. It's the OG, the Smudge. I'm gonna turn off my line art and sample all the layers. It takes a little bit of experimentation, you know, trying to find that right look for you. Experiment with different type of brushes as well. This one has a little more, you know, bristle and hair on the edges. Depending on which brushes you use, it's gonna look a little different for each of them. Painting around the form, it gives a really nice acrylic oil look. Let's jump into tip number 6, using your eraser as a brush. Yeah, your eraser doesn't have to be some boring old eraser. It can actually cut. Say you have a stroke like this, instead of erasing it like that, which is kind of boring, right? I changed the eraser to something interesting, you know, something with some texture, and this is what it does. Ooh, look how juicy that looks. Yeah, let's try again. You do this, and then whoa, damn, that's super nice. Instead of thinking it as just an eraser, think of it like another brush that you can use. For me, this helps me create a more painterly look. Next tip is one of my favorites ever, and that's color range. If you've been around my channel or my Patreon, you definitely have seen this. Basically, I'm trying to extract the elements in my reference to use the texture or an asset, and it results in making it look more painterly. I have this dead coast tree here. Depending on the program, there's a tool that extracts different elements or the texture. For Photoshop, I'm gonna go to select color range, and I'm going to select what range of color I want. Ooh. I'm gonna copy that and put it in here. Ooh, nice. Yo, that's sexy. Wow. And with this, you can use it for a few things, like maybe the background, using your eraser, your brush eraser, and carve it out. Oh, that's pretty, look at that. And I'm gonna go right into the next tip, is using the texture with a blending mode. Immediately, you see the difference, right? You feel that like painterly, textured, kind of traditional look. So I'm gonna lower the opacity. This is also kind of like a photo bashing technique. And so if you guys are interested in a full photo bashing tutorial, let me know in the comments. I've been also doing that for over 10 years. So I'm gonna polish this a little bit, and I have 2 techniques left to show you, and one of them is my super secret one. And so I'll see you soon. Hollow is under the tree playing piano. There's kind of like markings on the tree related to him. As this book slowly rolls out next year, I'll definitely talk more about the project and the story. We have 2 more painterly techniques for you, and the first one is Stylized Filters. Your art program should have a whole bunch of preset filters, maybe a filter gallery, and it creates different types of textures and different looks. I know Clip Studio Paint has this filter where you can turn like a photo into an anime background. This one's cool. Ooh, I love this actually. I love the kind of like the roughness of the texture. It makes it look like a fresh painting. I might actually use this. This is for me to just kind of like reset my brain. I've been working for hours on it, and there's some really cool things I can experiment with. All right guys, this is the moment you've been waiting for. This is my super secret painterly technique. And it's cloud brushes! Cloud brushes! Yes, I've been doing this a lot more recently, but I use cloud brushes for everything. I use it for clouds, obviously, trees, flowers, dirt, and even lighting. So I'm gonna show you how I use cloud brushes to achieve a more painterly look. Let's go. Yeah, so I have a whole bunch of cloud brushes here, and I'm gonna use this one for this foliage in the back. Ooh, okay. Ah, that's sick. Let's try another cloud brush. Ooh, okay, hell yeah. Damn, all right. That's so good. Clouds are just so cool. There's infinite types of textures and shapes and sizes that you can play with, and you're bound to find something painterly in there. More recently, I've been using it as light. And so I'm gonna make a new layer and change the blending mode to color dodge, and watch this. Ooh, yeah. Nice. And so I'm gonna match this lighting to the perspective. So it looks like kind of dappled lighting. That's kind of legit. That's kind of legit. Now everyone's gonna do this, huh? There's some really cool cloud brushes online you can find. I'm kind of working on some right now for my next brush pack update, which I'm so stoked for. And there we go. Those are 10 techniques to help you achieve a more painterly style in your art. I hope you learned something. And if you want to see more of my in-depth process, I have my Patreon where you can find monthly tutorials. Also have my digital art bootcamp if you want to really level up your art game. And now let's finish with a really quick color dodge. Ooh. Wait, does that really say 40 hours? Yeah, because I made like 5 different versions. Here are my favorite 3. You know, us artists are quite perfectionists, right? And after filming, I felt like I could portray this better or in a different light, and so I redrew it. I really like the side profile one a lot. And this other one, I didn't really get to finish. But let me know which vibe you like the best. A, B, or C. Anyway, here's a clip of when the barber saw my terrible hair and fixed it. 1 to 10.
2.5.
2.5? Oh, that's, oh, dang.
Okay, we did it. Oh, he's in better shape.
Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe so I can get better haircuts.